Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. This is your boy Simbawi Nibai Jr., aka TK, and my man Omar Williams. We call him O. Say what's up to the peeps.
What's going on, good people?
We are here today with an awesome part 2 of our podcast, the Women's Entrepreneurial Series. And if you watched last week, we did have some slight technical difficulties, but we fixed those and got everything together. We had this Elaine Kennedy, who was the CEO and founder of My Vision is Clear, LLC. And that was an amazing start and beginning to our women's entrepreneurial series that we're having right now. But right now, before we introduce our guests, y'all know it's Affirmation Wednesday. You know what we do. So instead of doing this in the morning time, in the AM, we're going to do this in the evening time. And so if you catch the recording of this, you can also get the affirmations anytime you like, anytime you want. We're going to do these now to get them in and out the way. Slightly a little different than what we do in our Wednesday morning ones, but you know what? It's all good. So if you have it written down, if you got to memorize or whatever you do, you can repeat after me or with me, and we're going to get this evening/morning, whatever time you listen to this, started. Right now, it's 7 p.m. and we're live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Facebook. 2 Facebooks, 1 YouTube. Gotcha. Y'all ready? Here we go. Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an awesome day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be a phenomenal day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stress-less day. Today, I will overcome all barriers that want to block my progress. Today, all circumstances, issues, and situations will work in my favor. Today, all things will line up for my good. Today, I will become better than who and what I was yesterday. I am a go-getter. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I am an overcomer. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I take authority over this day. I will dominate this day. I will conquer this day. And everything that I have spoken into this day will happen as I have affirmed, because I am more than a conqueror. Are y'all ready to get it? Let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest with us today. We're going to bring her on screen in just a moment. Before we begin, you got anything you want to say, get off your chest before we get started? Or you ready to roll, brother?
I'm ready to roll, man. Ready to roll.
All right, well, let's do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest today, and y'all see me like doing all of my like producer stuff right now. I'm like getting everything all set up. So I'm gonna introduce her right. All right. A business mentor, marketing mentor, that is, and a speaker, Chef Katrina, is recognized as one of the top 5 Pinterest trainers in her industry. They call her Chef because she's a former Disney chef that retired from the kitchen. She owned a restaurant for a short period of time, and after closing the doors, found her passion and her mission to ensure that business owners learned how to leverage digital marketing and stay in business. She has spoken from the stage, trained from the top digital marketing companies, and mentored thousands of entrepreneurs in building their brand and digital marketing strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast, none other than Chef Katrina. Welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. It is an honor and a pleasure. I think you're on mute. There we go. Let's unmute you.
I'm unmuted. That was a heck of an introduction, and I will totally take it. So thank you for having me on. It's super awesome to be here, and I'm excited because I don't know what's going to happen in this conversation.
And we don't either. So,
so
for
just
those of you
in the kitchen,
exactly, you never know what's going to happen, right?
Mm-mm.
So for those of you who don't know, I know I told you guys some background about my previous guest. So me and Chef Katrina, we met over a Zoom in a nice community that we were part of, and we met officially face to face in Florida in January, and I actually did not recognize how tall she was until I stood next to her, and I was like, "Oh, she's got some height on her." Like I'm 6'4", so I was like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of cool. She's got some height." Then on top of that, aside from the business, summit we went to and all that, there was a time where we got a chance to just hang out, have fun, and I learned that Chef Katrina has got some moves. Like she can move, man. Like and she can rap. Now, granted, she was doing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but she did the whole entire song, by herself. I was like, that's impressive. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special woman today. We're going to jump right in because we don't waste no time. And that's what we do here on the Frame of Mind podcast. So, I want you, Chef Katrina, before we get into marketing strategies and Pinterest stuff, give us some background on you and your story. The stage is all yours.
Oh, yeah. So I know, you know what? A whole side of me came out at that business marketing event. I'm, the dancing and everything else. We'll let that be. What's interesting is I get a lot of people ask me, why are you still Chef Katrina? Why do you continue to carry that name? So just a little background for all of you that are watching me or don't know who I am. I am Chef Katrina. I go by that name because I was a former chef at Disney, and I retired from the industry about 8 years ago. Now, if you ask Disney, I quit. But for me, I retired because it was time, honestly. I had begun my entrepreneurial journey back when I was starting college. I remember being driven across the country. I was going to Texas at the time, coming from California. And my parents handed me a book, and it was a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it was the first time I was really introduced to the world of entrepreneurship and that type of environment. So I picked up this book and I read it and I said, you know what, someday, one day, this is going to be my life, right? Like I'm going to create this. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. So I went through my college. I graduated with a culinary degree. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in hotel, restaurant, tourism management. I went to Disney because that was the place to go because I wanted a good resume, and ended up working there for over 12 years. And while I was there, I learned a lot of things. Disney's a beautiful place to learn a lot about story building, branding, customer service, and how do you tell a story through food, and how do you still tell a story through an environment. And not knowing that I picked that information up, it really showed up in my online marketing when I left Disney. So I was one of those people that walked into the chef office one day. And I'm not sure if you guys know who Zig Ziglar is.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So imagine walking into the chef's office. There's about 5 or 6 chefs in there. And I said, oh my God, today's a horrible day. I can't believe what just happened. And they're like, what happened? I said, Zig Ziglar passed today. And every single one of them looked at me and said, who? And I knew in that moment I was done.
Oh, wow.
This was no longer the place for me anymore, right?
Wow.
There wasn't anything here that Disney could give me at that time because I just kind of outgrew it. I was like, I can't see myself here for another 20, 30, 40 years. And this isn't my home anymore. So I remember going home, and I don't know how many of you guys have done this, but I actually still do this all the time. I have a desk calendar. So it actually looks something like this, right? And it was probably end of January, and I sat there staring at it on my table, and I said, just pick a day, Katrina. So I picked the day. It was April 31st or April 30th, April 30th. All right, so April 30th, I said then that day, and I circled it, and I said last day at Disney. And I walked into my workplace, and I said, Chef, how much time do you need? And he goes, 4 months. I said, good, here's my notice. I said, April 30th will be my last day. Now, mind you, I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to be in the world of online marketing. I just didn't know what it was going to look like. And, I took the leap of faith. Now, mind you, I had no health insurance now. I had no steady paycheck. Big 2 things most of us in the corporate world fear the most, right? No paycheck, no health insurance. What the heck? How are you going to live, right? And I jumped off that cliff. And I knew that somewhere along the way, I would build the wings I needed to fly. And so I did. And 8 years later, I'm here talking to you guys.
That is amazing. Good, awesome stuff. Your desktop calendar, I have tried that over the past 2 years, and I think I just kind of outgrew that process of having the desk calendar. So now I use a whiteboard. now. Whiteboard, notepad, and my phone. And I do that because I always say if electronics happen to go out one day, I got to have a backup that's on paper. Because before we had that, we had paper and pen. So I got to have something to back up. That's an awesome story. And some of that I actually didn't know until today. So I'm glad I got to learn something new about Chef Katrina.
Yeah.
So now let's tell us how you got started with from where you were at Disney to where now you mentioned in your bio you had a restaurant for some time.
Oh yeah.
So we're talking now. We're talking about struggles along the way, how she got started, and then how she got to where she is now.
Okay, so you want to hear a little bit about that one. So I had actually tried to leave Disney. And when I tried to do that, the head chef, the executive chef of Walt Disney World called me into his office and said, would you be willing to work part-time for us? And I made a pretty good deal actually out of doing that. So I actually stayed and I worked 3 days a week. And inside of that, I also decided I wanted to go buy a restaurant. I wanted to dip my toes into the world of entrepreneurship. So I opened in January, we took over a restaurant. And then end of September, we closed the restaurant. Through a lot of failed attempts. Like everyone goes, I can't believe, well, like, how do you feel about that? I'm like, I learned so many lessons. I learned a lot of things that I am really good at. And I learned a lot of things that I was not really great at. Right. But the one thing that came out of that, honestly, was the fact that I recognized that if I learned a little bit more about marketing, it was like, how do you get butts in the seats in a restaurant? Right. In the world of word of mouth. And because we had taken over a restaurant, so there was a change in ownership and we were trying to clean up the mess that was made for the previous owner, we had a lot of work to do. And we had a lot of marketing skills that we needed but didn't have. So my business partner and I, when we closed the restaurant, we both looked at each other and I said, well, what do we do now? And I said, I want to make sure this never happens to another entrepreneur ever again. How do we keep mom and pop small businesses in business, learning some basic marketing skills? And that began the journey of where I am for today. That's how I got started in all of this.
Wow.
Awesome. Now, I'm going to let you jump in here. Do you have a question you want to ask right now? And I'm going to let you jump in real quick.
I might be jumping the gun, but I would like to know, what's the biggest take you took from Disney?
Oh, my gosh. So one of the biggest things I took
that
from
impacted
Disney,
you the most? I'm sorry.
No, that's a great one. I think one of the biggest things that I learned from Disney was the storytelling. When you start at Disney, they have something called foundations. And basically you sit in a room for an entire day for about a little over 8 hours, and you're introduced to the world of Disney for the first time. You're given the background, the history, why the park exists, how Walt came up with this. And you're basically walked through an education around Disney, right? And it's beautifully done, beautifully done. And then from there, when you go and you get into your location at Disney, you're given another day. It's a traditions day. And during that day, so it's traditions and foundations, whatever, you guys, it doesn't make a difference. And then when you get to the location, either the park or the resort, there's another day, 6 hours, where you're introduced to your location. And you're given all the history and the story behind why this exists. So every restaurant, every resort, every park has this own like theme or play that's going on. And we're all characters on stage.
Wow.
That's actually why Disney employees are called cast members, because we all play a part of the story when we step on the stage. Wow. So when I look at what Disney taught me, it taught me to interact with people genuinely, but to be able to continue to tell the story so that they enjoyed their life and they enjoyed the experience of being there. That's really my biggest takeaway that I got from Disney.
That's good.
Wow. That's good stuff, man. I said we as my family, we haven't been to Disney yet. My daughter asked me often, can we go to Disney World? I'm like, yeah, we can go. She's like, can we go tomorrow? I'm like, well, we can't go tomorrow, but we can go. But we took them to the Kissimmee Mall, where the Disney Mall is, years ago. And she thought that was Disney World. And I was like, this is not Disney World. I said, this is, a Disney theme. I said, it's not Disney World. I said, but I'm glad you got your little kick. I said, but Disney World is so much better. So much better. So that's definitely on the list for us. It's just amazing that everyone who's an employee, they're playing a part in the story as a character. That's very interesting.
That's deep.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of like dips you in the culture of Disney. You're like, okay, I'm learning about the culture of Disney. I'm playing my role and my part.
Mhm.
And I guess every part of the park has its own little theme, and you played a huge part being the head chef, in the kitchen, and so that's huge. I love it.
So even as a chef, you're called a cast member.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Everybody that works for Disney, whether they're the executive, even down to like your maintenance, your electrical, your gardeners, your dishwasher. I mean, everybody is considered a cast member at Walt Disney World.
All right, so I'm gonna throw in a brand new off the top question.
Good.
Out of all the chefs you've seen in Disney movies, what chef would you characterize yourself as?
So I'm not sure I characterize myself as this, but this is what I was named. It was one of the locations I worked at. They always said I had a nose that could smell anything, like anything. So Remy from Ratatouille was actually kind of a little bit of a nickname that I got because like my nose for like anything, like I could smell something burning. I could smell when the gas was on. I could smell whatever. And they're like, how do you smell that? It's like way over on the other side of the kitchen. And I was like, I don't know. I can smell whatever's going on. So yeah, I got the nickname Remy for a little while.
I gotta write that down. So next time I'm like, hey Remy, what's up?
I'll probably answer to it. You have no idea. I mean, I still answer to chef, so come on.
That's awesome. So now let's dig into some marketing strategies and Pinterest, because that's what most of you will want to hear about. Pinterest, marketing strategies, and that's why we got her here, because she is, like I said, top 5 in Pinterest, in the industry, the realm of Pinterest, top 5. So give us some ideals and some strategies of marketing, because a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, or those who are starting businesses, they get advertising and marketing mixed up. And they think they're the same, but they are definitely not. Can you shed some light on that, please? Yeah,
that's a really great question. I've always been told that if you don't have something to market, why would you advertise? Right? So the market is actually first and foremost, who you are. It is actually your brand. So like Disney markets, right? That is their story that they're telling, right? That's why we go to traditions. It's the story. That is their marketing. We as cast members are their marketing because we tell people what we do, where we work, how we work there, right? Their advertising is the billboards and everything else. But the marketing has to be around a business first. If the business doesn't exist, advertising is worthless. Because what are you advertising? Right? Mm-hmm. So when I talk with people about Pinterest, what's really different about it is that the fact that it is a search marketing platform. And why that differs from Facebook than any other platform like an Instagram is because with Facebook and Instagram, we're in conversation, right? We have to engage with people. This is social. Social means that we're talking to people, we're engaging, we're saying hello to our friends. We should be commenting on images, photos, things like that, because that's what we're here for. We're here to build those relationships, check in with family, friends, meet new people, right?
Right.
In the world of search marketing, it's all about how you're being found. So when you look at what you're doing for your business, my question is where is your real estate? Where's your property? Where do you show up online? How do you show up online? Right. And so I always tell people when you look at what your business is, you have to know what real estate you own online. And for most of us, what we don't understand is that what we own online is actually our website and our email list. Those are actually the only 2 things we own on the internet that we can say for ourselves. I can own the traffic that's coming to my website because I drive it there. And I can own the email list is because these are the people I market to. Media in general, digital media, as I now call it. I don't call it social media anymore. I call it digital media because digital media is an expression or a way for you to get people and eyeballs on your offers. But digital media, you rent. You have landlords. You have to sign into them, right? They control how you say, what you're going to see, everything, right? So landlords can kick you out. Landlords can put restrictions on you, right? But when you own your presence online, when you actually take ownership of it, marketing becomes a little bit easier because you control the conversation that you want to go out in the world. And you use digital media to continue to perpetuate that conversation. It's like the heartbeat, right? If you have your home, then the first heartbeat is your home, right? That contraction is your home. You're going to take care, you're going to create the information, and then you're going to send it out into the world. And you're going to find people that are going to connect to that. Now they're going to come back to your home and they're going to read about you. And then their job is to share what they learned from your home, and then they go out. So there's always somebody coming in, and there's always inviting friends to come check out what you do. And that for me is one of the biggest pieces around who and what are you online as your market, and then how are you advertising that to the world?
That's great stuff. I hope you guys are taking notes and writing stuff down, because this is great, awesome stuff. Now, my other question I have is, when it comes, interesting you said that we are renters, because I was speaking with someone the other day, and they were talking about how Facebook pretty much owns everything.
Right.
No matter what you put on Facebook, like, I can take whatever you put on Facebook that you posted, pictures, everything, and I can put it wherever I want to put it at. Like, you're renting my space.
Yep.
I can do whatever I want to do.
I can collect whatever data I want from you. If you tell me you like a movie, great, I'll add that to my collection of information. If you put a picture up, great, I'll add that to my collection of information that I have on you, that this is your friends, this is what you do. They take all of that. They collect it.
And one of the things that I've told people is that, look, you have two forms of identity. You have your physical identity, which is the physical you that you can touch. And then there's the digital you. And that's the one that you don't really have much control over, that one, as much as you think you do.
That's true.
And that right there, to a lot of folks, that's scary, because they're like, especially to the older generation, they're like, they don't trust nobody. Like, my money's under the bed. It's tucked under some boards. I don't trust the bank. I don't trust this. And then there's others who think, or they believe they have the control, and they really don't. You're just renting that space. So that's awesome. That's good stuff. Good stuff once again. Oh, you got anything? Right?
Yeah. But could you speak to that? Like, how, to the person that is afraid, right? How afraid should we be, or is it just an illusion?
How afraid should you be?
Have you seen The Social Dilemma yet?
I watched half of it, and then I couldn't do it anymore.
And why couldn't you do it anymore?
I just feel like I don't like when people push fear, even though it might be true. I can't. After a while, I'm just like,
So one of the big things that they talk about when you talk about digital media is that free isn't always free, right? We hear that all the time, right? So if you're going to pay for something, free isn't free. You're either going to pay with it with your time, or with, somewhere out down the line, it's going to come back at you. The one thing I look at with social media and digital marketing is who's controlling the tool. Are you being controlled by it, right? Are you at its whim, where everything that comes up here and you have to answer right away? Are you being controlled by the tool, or do you control the tool? Right?
Right.
So when you're looking at your presence on digital media, you get to craft it however you want. And it's really up to you to put out there what you want to put out there. If you're a marketer and you don't want to have your kids be anywhere inside of your digital marketing, then you don't have to. You could appear totally that you don't have a family at all, and people don't know the difference because the image you put on digital media is one of your own creation. So you get to create the presence that you want to have online. My digital presence online is Chef Katrina. Do you think I walk around all day, every day, wearing a chef coat everywhere I go? That's kind of weird, right? But that is what, if you're looking at this, I want you to think about how the tool is being used, right? Are you on here to impact, engage, and use the tool as a way it's supposed to be used, as a communication tool? Or are you going along with whatever the tool's saying? You're following every recommendation. You're accepting friend requests because they tell you to. Are you just mindlessly using it, or are you purposely using it? And the difference between the two really controls what you need to have out there. So do you need to be afraid of digital media? No. right? We all have left a digital footprint. Trust me, if you weren't online, there's still a digital footprint from you, from your bank to the car you drive to everything else. There's a digital footprint.
Right, exactly.
You're never going to get away from it. It's not possible. The thing you got to look at is how are you controlling what's being put out there?
Right.
And you can control that. That's a great question.
That's good.
I was going to say he's asking that question because he's fearful of social media, but he's not. I'm just
no. It's just really.
No, I'm not. No, I feel like you do. I control what I put on there. Right. So
if you control it and because there is an algorithm, there is a AI system that's trying to learn you and trying to keep you on the platform, right? Every marketer in every digital platform is vying for your attention. So they want to keep putting things in front of you so that you keep on the platform, because the more they keep you on the platform, the better chance they have that if they put an ad in front of you, you'll buy something. And that's ultimately the point, right? You guys, we're only here for 3 reasons online, right? They all start with an E. I promise you, there's no other reason that I'm sitting here in this box with you two. So it's either you're here for education, you're here for entertainment, or you're here for e-commerce. Why else would we be on this internet thing? The world is right outside your window. You could drive down your car and do all of this, and yet we look and take advantage of the simplicity of this platform. But education, entertainment, e-commerce. I mean, is there another reason to be on the internet?
Not really. Unless there's another E we can think of.
No. Trust me, everything falls into those 3 categories. We've gone in depth around that, just so you know. We've dug everything up. We're like, no, so entertainment and education. Like, now how do you look at it?
There you go. So let's dive a little into Pinterest, because some people were like, okay, I'm on Pinterest. I'm doing X, Y, Z. I don't really know, what I'm doing. I'm putting stuff in. Speak to those who are on Pinterest who are trying to utilize that as their main, digital presence.
Yeah. So if you're looking to utilize Pinterest as your main digital presence online, do not social media Pinterest. You can't Facebook Pinterest. I've seen everyone try to do this. You have no idea. I've seen people try to do Instagram Pinterest, right? It doesn't work. Pinterest is its own media platform, digital presence on its own. So the things you have to remember about Pinterest is that it's a visual platform. It's visual SEO. Okay. It's a search platform. So first off, everything from eating food to what we buy, we see first, and then we make those decisions. So Pinterest is capitalizing on that. Okay. So what you're going to look at with Pinterest, the big things you're going to want to look at is, first off, make sure you have a business account. If you really want to grow your business over on Pinterest, set up your business account first and foremost. Okay. The second thing you want to do is you want to create your first 3 to 4 boards. Your boards are what you want to be known for. So let's take TK here, and he says, I have a podcast I want to be known for. Then one of your boards is going to be the podcast, Frame of Mind Inc. podcast, right? That is the board. And then every podcast you create, that is a pin that goes on the board. And what that does is it weighs heavy on the SEO that you need to get searched and found by making sure people know this is the topic and this is the category, and these are everything I'm going to put inside of this. This is what I want to be known for. So the board is the first critical piece to Pinterest, and the pin and how the pin looks, I've seen it too many times. I'm just going to tell you guys, I love you all, but there are 5 things every single pin needs to have. And every time I see a pin from a newbie, it has one. It's got the pin, right? I love you all, but you cannot do what you do on Facebook and on Instagram and anywhere else. You cannot have that same image, and it's not going to be as effective on Pinterest. Pinterest is like your mini billboard. Each pin has one opportunity to tell people what it is that pin does, completes, solves, problem, whatever it is, to get them to click. That is the whole purpose of the pin, is to get a click. So you've got to be very upfront. If you want them to go read your blog post, read more. It's got to have a call to action on it. If you want them to buy something, buy now. Literally what you've been told you can't do on Facebook, you have to do on Pinterest, because you have one shot, one pin, one image to create the impression that you want to get people to click through. That's the biggest takeaway I can give you. So learning and understanding the pin is the most critical piece to mastering your presence on the Pinterest platform.
Wow, that's good. Now, personally, I don't use Pinterest. And I'm sorry, Chef. I'm sorry. I just blasphemed. I'm sorry.
No, you're cool.
But you know what? The first time I'd used Pinterest, I was like, I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to figure this out. And I never did. And so those of you, and I have to jump in real quick, those of you who are into Pinterest, like this is your go-to right here. We have the top 5 person in Pinterest giving you the sauce of exactly what to do to use it. Go ahead, Chef.
No, you have your YouTube channel, right? Like this is bringing broadcast to YouTube.
Yes.
So one of the best things you can do is actually to repin this to Pinterest for extra SEO. It gives a little more Google juice. Did you know that on Pinterest, you can also be found through the search engines for your boards, your profiles, and your pins?
If you guys aren't writing this down, I am.
Like it is truly a visual search. So if you are on YouTube, the first thing you should do, I tell everyone all the time, you should be sharing your YouTube channel to a Pinterest board. Like get that extra leverage of SEO and leverage the visual platform to do what it needs to do, which is get you out in front of people. They're Pinterest, everybody on Pinterest, we call them pinners. They're looking to be inspired. They're looking for ideas. They're looking for education. They're looking for financial. They're looking for businesses. This is the only platform that's so personal. Even Facebook can't compete with this because people save pins that are important to who?
To them.
Everything on their board is personal to them. Evan Spark, the co-creator of it, this is a gentleman. He goes, I don't understand why Pinterest is so female dominant. I'm a guy. I built it for me.
Wow.
He's like, I built it to be able to take everything on the internet and categorize it into different boards so that I could go and find the information later.
All right, now I have a question.
Yes.
On that right there. So Pinterest is female dominated. You've established that. A male created Pinterest for, he said, so this is not anything against
buddy,
the owner of Pinterest. My question is, did he market Pinterest correctly to get the result he wanted to from a male perspective?
You know what? I think he did. And so what happened, though, is that women tend to be more organized type of individuals than I think the men are in just typical piece, right? He had the right concept. And what's interesting now is that of Pinterest, it's a 60-40 split. It's still 60% of women that are signing up, but it's 40% and growing of men that are now showing up on the platform. So we're starting to see more of the guys come over there and start to use it because they are seeing it as a place to collaborate. For my web designers out there, I love telling you guys use Pinterest so that your clients can pin on a private board what they like around different designs, different blog posts, different websites, because it gives you an opportunity to see visually what your client wants. Because having somebody describe something to you, especially around digital marketing, is quite entertaining to hear. Because you'll hear one thing, but it might not match what they're looking at or what they're seeing. So leverage Pinterest for creating client boards around products and services that you're customizing for them. Have them tell you what fonts and images and colors and things that they like about their brand, right? It's the same thing for designers and health and wellness coaches. Like, what are you looking for? And so these boards can be really customized for clients, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
This is some gold nuggets, guys. Like, I'm sitting there taking notes like, wait a minute, I am missing out on the Pinterest industry. Like, so would you say that Pinterest is like one huge digital whiteboard?
Yes. That is a great way to describe that. Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. You guys should be like jumping out of your seats saying, you know what? I'm about to be a master marketer on Pinterest.
So, I mean, think about it, guys, right? TKNO, if you were to sit there and try to figure out all the websites that you've been on over the years, right? How many of them have you saved passwords to, or you've looked at and said, hey, I want to go back to that later?
Right.
Then you try to find later where that link was or whatever. Why not have a board on Pinterest that says like sites to visit, and then you just save that board and you just take an image from there, because every site has an image, and pin it to that board. And that way you know to go back there later. Like, this is your board of things that you're looking at that maybe aren't on your radar right now, or something you want to do for your business. Now you're not searching the web or trying to remember where you found that or what you opted into. Now you actually have the website with an image on a board that's specific, and you can hide your boards. You can keep secret boards that you can pin things to that nobody else on Pinterest is going to see. So why not have some of those boards that help you build your business, that help you remember all the cool stuff you want to do?
That is, again, gold nuggets, guys. I mean, come on. Where else have you heard this about Pinterest? And you're getting this here for what? FREE. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I want more of you guys over there. Like, Pinterest is craving good content, good information, good training. And they're rewarding you guys for every new piece of content you put on your site. It gets surfaced. They call it surfacing on Pinterest. It gets surfaced in the news feed when you continuously put good new content in there. Pinterest rewards you for that because they're craving that over there. For too long, it's been the same information cycled over and over again. Now they want businesses and entrepreneurs and content creators to be over there helping really build out the presence of Pinterest in the world.
Wow, that's amazing.
What are some of the top types of Pinterest topics?
Topics? Oh my gosh. It
like
depends.
recipes?
Actually, you know what's funny? It's not recipes.
Okay.
It's finances.
Is it? Wow. Okay.
Right? Like, you think about it, you're like, wait, what? It's finances, right? It's budgeting. It's starting jobs. It's everything in your life. It's everything from, whatever your boards you start to create. Like if it's music, if it's tattoos, if it's, certain style of clothing. Like, I was talking to a stylist, and she goes, go create a Pinterest board and follow your top movie star or actor that you like the style they have, and start collaborating a board around the styles that you want, so that when you go shopping for clothes, you can find related styles that can help you build your wardrobe, those simple pieces of clothing that you need. And I was like, that's another brilliant way to use the platform.
Wow.
Right? It's just, Pinterest has actually moved this year and said, we want to be the place that inspires you to live a better life. And they've specifically gone after inspiration and creating a culture of inclusivity, which no other platform is doing. I mean, it's in their core. It's in, like, I had to sign today. I thought it was funny because I've been on the platform for so long, but I was creating a new pin story. And they said, I need you to sign and agree to this creator code. And the creator code is basically do no harm. Right? Put your best information out here, but include everybody. Right? If you're going to talk about style for everyone, not just for one person, one gender, one everything. Like, be inclusive in how you come across. Like, the fact that they're so focused on that as a platform is really, truly something to aspire to. And that's why I say entrepreneurs should be there, because we inspire the world. So why not be on a platform that embraces that? True
that. Man, I am even more overwhelmed. Because this, like, I know what Chef Katrina brings, but like, she just dropped some new knowledge on me I just didn't know about when it came to Pinterest. And that's just like, that's a huge marketing platform for anybody. I mean, so now I'm like, all right, I gotta go.
There's 450 million active users every month using that platform.
Wow.
Now, how often should one post, on Pinterest? Like, was there a way to go about doing it, or can you do it every day, every 4 hours? Like, how does that go?
So this is the beauty of Pinterest, is usually it's a couple of pins a day. And the beautiful thing is like, if you have this video, you can actually create 2 different types of pins, because all you have to do is change a color, change an image, change the call to action button, and it's considered a new pin on the Pinterest platform. So you can post twice a day using exact same content, just 2 different types of pins. You could do a video pin. You could do a story pin. You can do a stagnant pin. You can do a carousel pin. I mean, the platform is built for creativity.
Wow.
Now,
I'm sorry. You got
no,
it.
Go ahead. I would just say, like, you guys you're in a better place than I was when I first started, because back when I started, it was anywhere from 30 to 40 pins a day.
Ooh.
Now we're down to like 2 to 3.
That sounds like very doable.
Yeah. Before it was like, oh my gosh. Now it's like, oh, okay, breathing. So yeah.
Go ahead, Al.
So outside of people treating it like Facebook, what's another thing that people should not do that they have been doing or that you see on Pinterest?
Yeah, so treating it like Facebook is the biggest one. Putting images up there that don't lead anywhere. One of my biggest pet peeves, honestly, and I think every pinner has this, we click on pins because we want to go to the destination. Like if we see an image, we want to go there, right? And a lot of times pinners put pins up that don't lead anywhere. So they're great visual on the platform, but I can't buy that. I can't get to it, and I can't find out more information about that. Don't do that. Okay. You really want to look at Pinterest as intentional. Every pin should be linked to some sort of website, which is why I call it very intentional. If you're going to be on here, then your pin needs to lead back to your YouTube channel for that specific video that you're writing that pin for. If you write a blog post, you want that pin going back to that specific blog post, right? If you're selling a product or service, take them straight to that product and service and let them buy. It's very intentional and very direct. So the other big thing I see is just images with no purpose. Don't do that.
I've seen that, and I was kind of like, I'm like, oh, that's how you use it? And then I'm
no. No. That's not how you not use it. That's how people see Facebook. Because you gotta remember, social media, we've been using this platform as images with like long posts or extra information, right? You don't have that ability with a pin. All they're seeing is the image of the pin. Yes, there's a description you can add to it, but that description is really for how your pin's going to surface. How's your SEO? Does your title match what's in your description? And to give you your destination, right? But that's all hidden behind the pin. They don't see that. Pinterest does, because they're using that to help surface your information, but the person on the platform doesn't ever see that information. So the pin, again, really critical that you take those 5 critical steps of like, what is your pin? Where is it going? What's your call to action? Do you have a description on there? And does it meet the standards of not being spammy?
Wow. Great stuff. Oh, you got anything else?
That was a great question.
And it's my last question, and I'm done.
All good, brother.
So like, I'm not that big on social media. So to a person that says, what's the difference between this or Instagram? Because Instagram has the same, like if I scroll down my feed, I can put things, I can save things, I can tag it to go there later to maybe, So what's the separation?
So Instagram still, if I'm not mistaken, you still only can use the one link in your profile, correct? Like, so if you put an image on Instagram, you can't tag it to anything, you can't connect it to anything.
You're right. Right.
So Instagram, again, becomes just an image platform that you then have to go and search the profile to find the link to take you somewhere unless you're running the ad.
Okay.
Not the case with Pinterest. Every image has a purpose, right? So Instagram still links through like a link tree or whatever else you're using for Instagram. Pinterest is about the shopper. It's about creating content that people want in their house. It's about helping the buyer visualize before it happens what they want in their house. Can I show you guys something real quick? Do we have time?
Yes, you do.
You guys probably don't have this on your phone. There's probably a good chance you don't have the Pinterest app on your phone, do you?
I do
not.
So crazy. So the reason I share this with you, because I want you guys to see this. It really explains the difference between Pinterest and every other platform at this point. So if you have the Pinterest app, okay, get into it. Down here at the bottom or at the top, there's that little search icon that's right here.
Right.
When you click on it, it opens up a search bar at the top. The search bar has a camera in it, and Pinterest calls this their lens. You guys are starting to see more about the lens on Google as like a way to find things, especially image-wise. So when you click that little camera, right, it has a camera that shows up. So I'm going to do this for you all. I'm going to flip the camera towards me. Now, if you guys are watching and you're seeing this for the first time, you have this, do this for yourself, because this really explains Pinterest in a way nothing else can. If I take a picture of me, I want to make sure I complete the head to about mid-chest. And there's a reason for this, right? So I click it, and then it does its little flowery thing. Now, what Pinterest is actually showing for me are people with short hair and actually white jackets.
Okay.
Pinterest has no facial recognition. See, Facebook and Instagram have facial recognition. Pinterest doesn't care who you are. They care about what you're wearing and what's important to you. So Pinterest is thinking, I'm looking for a white shirt or something of that design, right? So I can explore it, or I have an opportunity to shop those looks, and I can actually buy the things that I'm looking for, right?
Oh.
On the flip side of that, if I flip my camera over and I take a picture of anything around me, so I'm going to take a picture of my microphone. Let's just have some fun with that. So I have the blue mic, right? Uh-oh, that didn't work. Go back.
It gave you something, though.
It did. Give me more blurry images. So I have the blue mic. That's my microphone.
That's pretty good.
What is it looking for?
Blue microphones.
Blue microphones are specific.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
So what Pinterest is doing is it's looking to help you find objects and images that are important to your life, and then helping you craft and save that to your boards.
Wow. That's.
Oh, does that make more sense? Like, what's the difference between the two now?
You say no more.
you just literally opened up a whole new world for him just now.
I'm like, I just say no more.
Yeah. That's
Chef Katrina, we appreciate you dropping knowledge today on us on Pinterest and on marketing strategies. I mean, what more do you guys want? What more do you want? So before we actually end this, just in general, just say something to the people who are watching, either both live or going to get the replay or the audio, and just in general, just drop some knowledge on everyone right now. Again, no, just general, let's be specific. Let's be Pinterest specific. Pinterest specific. All right. Drop something on entrepreneurs and business owners in general to leave with them today.
okay. Because I was like, you left the door wide open. I mean, I could have talked about like the weather outside at that point and some awesome information, but
that's why I say I'm going to be Pinterest specific.
Okay. The one thing I want to leave you with is that when you look at how you're going to show up online, one of the first things we all see is an image, a way that we present ourselves online. We've talked about this through this whole entire conversation. How you show up and how you present this and what you control around your image and brand is critical. Pinterest for me is your brand alive. From both the visual aspect to the colors they're using to the font you're using, Pinterest allows for you to be found anywhere. When you use the same image with Pinterest for your profile image as you do on the rest of your digital media, people make that connection. You can do your videos here. You can do your stories here. Let this be the place where your creativity comes alive as an entrepreneur. And if you're not sure what that looks like, start playing on the platform now. This is really your visual SEO for everything you're going to do, building your business forward. That's the best nugget I can leave with you with.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Katrina, awesome interview. I am floored and awed. I have like a phone page of notes right now. And I'm like, you know what? Pinterest is about to change my life all over. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. I appreciate you. Let everyone know where they can contact you at, reach you at, and all that stuff. And we'll also put it in the podcast notes as well. So your like social handles, your website, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. I'm just gonna tell you guys, it's if you go to thechefkatrina.com. So thechefkatrina.com is my website, so you can find out information there. I've done great posts around Pinterest. You guys can look for more information there, different things that are going on. And then, of course, my handle is Chef Katrina. If you put it in any site on social media, I promise you, you'll find me. So from Instagram to Twitter to Pinterest to Facebook, Chef Katrina is where you'll find me.
Awesome, guy. And I can concur. I went on like LinkedIn, all that stuff. I'm like, all I gotta do is type in Chef Katrina, and there she goes. She pops up. She's the only Chef Katrina probably in the entire world that you will find on social media.
Actually, I'm not. That's the crazy part. That's why I can only get the Chef Katrina. I can't get Chef Katrina because somebody owns that one, and I gotta compete against that.
Well, technically, you are the Chef Katrina. That is why that was left for you. Perfect. Thank you, Chef Katrina. We appreciate you. I will definitely see you on the flip side. And thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes. All right, guys. So that concludes our show for the day for our Women's Entrepreneurial Series. Again, you guys can contact the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast at FOFpodcast@frameofmindinc.com. And you can give us a call at 302-689-3499. If you want to be on the podcast, simply contact us. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. This is our Women's Entrepreneurial Series we're doing. We have next week, we have on the list, we have Angel Roberson is going to be, Angel Roberson is going to be on for next Wednesday night live, 7 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. So you don't want to miss that. She is a currency guru. She knows the history, where things are going from the dollar currency. You don't want to miss that. She also does something amazing with wealth in her organization. So make sure you attend that as well. For myself, Simbawi Nibai Jr., aka TK, my man Omar Williams, we call him O, and our lovely guest, Chef Katrina. Continue to think it, speak it, and achieve it. And we will see you guys again next Wednesday. Guys, have a great rest of your evening, and I'll holla.
Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time. Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers.